PEMCAST.
Welcome to PEMCAST. Today we are having a conversation with Grace Kim. She is one of my besties, one of my bridesmaids. And can you just give a little introduction, like what your life stage is at, just anything?
Hi, I'm Grace. I've been going to PEM for almost 5 years, since my freshman year of Rutgers. I went to Rutgers for like a year and a half, and then left. And then I'm now at FIT. I'm 24, and I guess I'm young adult / student, but I'm graduating this summer.
Finally.
I know.
I guess to start us off, what is like one piece of advice you would give to freshman Grace?
I guess to not follow anyone else's schedule but your own, because everyone's path in life is so different. And when you see someone else like, going to school for 4 years and working right away, it's like, I need to do that too, but you don't.
Yeah, it's like pretty crazy how you transition from like Rutgers you went to community college for a little bit too, and then ended up transferring.
Oh, because of you.
Because of me.
So, should I say it?
Yeah, you can share the story.
There was one day I was like breaking down because I didn't know what I was doing. I was at the business school at
Crisis
Rutgers.
mode.
And I just wasn't doing well in my classes. And I went to Eunice one day. I was like, I'm not doing well. I don't know what to do. Like, if there was anything else I could do at Rutgers, I would. Like, I love the people here, but I don't want to leave. Eunice was just like, you should just leave and go to community college and just do whatever you want. I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And my parents were coming that same day, and I just told them the same day.
Yeah,
and then
you
I
were
left.
fast. You were fast. It was crazy. You were like, when I told you all this stuff, you're like, yeah, I'll talk to my parents when I see them. Next day, you're like, I told them. I was like, what?
I'm leaving.
But they were like really supportive of it too.
Yeah.
Which I was very surprised about.
I think they also knew that I wasn't doing well. So they're like, you should just leave. Like, I don't think you like it anyway.
But it worked out well.
Yeah, it did.
Now you're doing something like you're really passionate about, which is fashion and like arts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Doing a lot in the city. But yeah, now you're actually one of the young adults planning and heading the Georgia missions trip, which I am actually going on too. Ooh. Could you give a little more, insight, information on this Georgia missions trip?
So at Georgia, we go to this town called Clarkston. It's like 30 minutes away from Atlanta. We work with this ministry called City Hope Community. So I think Georgia has one of the largest populations of refugee families. And they have these like apartment complexes that all the families go to when they first move in. What their vision is to just get the refugee community integrated with the rest of the community. So they have a lot of different programs. Like for children, they have like tutoring on Saturdays. They have an after-school program. And I think for the families, they just help a lot with like transportation, getting groceries. And I think they also do like tutoring for the young adults too, like English. Yeah.
And you've been going like every single year, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, since 2017.
That's commitment. I guess like one question is like, what makes you want to go back every year? Like, what is that?
I think it's just because the relationships you make, like once you get there and you make that connection with them, you just want to keep going, and you don't want to just end the connection right when you leave, Yeah. I feel like that's one of the whole points of like doing missions, like going and making those relationships and making sure like they can lean on you can lean on them. But with like obviously with children, it's so hard as being a refugee,
and
the society being so different, community being so different, and like just making that relationship with them.
Do you have any like stories or testimonies from like the past years from Georgia missions?
There is one story. Let's see. The first year that I went, it was a pool day. There's this one girl. I won't share her name. I'll call her Sarah.
Okay.
I was in the pool with just all the other kids in the camp, and Sarah just came to me in the pool, just went into my arms. I had no idea who this girl was, but she just wanted to be carried. It was so sweet, and we were just talking. I don't remember how old she was. She might have been like 8. I remember her because she didn't have any hair. Yeah, she had some kind of illness. I forget where you lose all your hair. I'm not sure.
Alopecia?
Maybe. Either that or she had leukemia. She had lost her hair.
Two very different.
But she didn't have any hair. And that was like one of the things I knew from, because I saw her again the next year. But the next year she had joined the camp. Yeah. It was great because it was just someone that I met in the community that wasn't connected at all. And then to see her come out. But she continued to come out every year, which was awesome. It turned out that Sarah was also a part of the same like apartment complex that all the other kids were in. And in these apartment complexes, they're all filled with the refugees, like I said. They kind of have to take care of themselves at home. You know, like when we would run the camp, a lot of them would bring their younger siblings. So I know that Sarah had like a little baby sister, and so she would just carry her around like a baby sister. Yeah. And a lot of the kids actually did that. They would have to bring their little siblings because no one else could watch them.
Were their parents or like were they out working?
Yeah, I think so.
I see.
Because whenever we have to drop off the kids, you wouldn't really see their parents. It was more like the grandparents that couldn't work. It's really nice to have the summer camp because it's just a place where the kids can just be kids and not have to worry about taking care of anyone and just having fun, doing things they like, eating good snacks, eating a lot of candy, just having fun. And being a kid, yeah. So I feel like having this once a year summer camp not only is important for us, but it's really important for them, which is why I feel like they reach out to us and ask us, like, are you coming again? Like, am I going to see you? Yeah, Sarah was actually one of the kids that, like, would consistently contact me and ask. She actually asked me a couple times in the past few months, like, am I going to see you?
Aww.
Are you coming? So sweet. Yeah.
I'll meet her.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So like they live in the same apartment complex as the one of the sites is at. Is that like in somebody's apartment or in like a common area, would you say?
The summer camp?
Yeah.
So there's this one apartment that's in the complex where where City Hope rents out. Yeah. So I think they also do their tutoring there too and their aftercare program.
What are some activities that you have planned for Georgia during like the time we're there?
When we go to Georgia, we do this summer camp and we have different stations. So one of them is life lessons station, and we have a craft station, snack station, and there's like an outdoor area. We do this summer camp in each apartment complex. So outdoors we have like a game station, which is pretty brutal for the people that do game station because it's so humid in Georgia. But it's okay because they play with water. And then the last day on Saturday, we'll usually do like a pool day.
Oh, yes. I've heard about the pool days.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Even if you don't want to go in, you will be going in.
Because the first year we went, it was like a really small community pool. But after all the other years, it was like this huge pool with like slides and there's like a tiny lazy river. It's really big. So you kind of have to go in so that you can like take care of the kids and not lose them. It's a pretty big area.
Chaperone them.
Yeah. But this year's like, it's very different for me because every other year I had done a station. So I would usually do snack station, but this year I'm actually a floater.
Oh,
Yeah, bigger
floating.
responsibility. So I'll be like doing the timer, just like making sure everyone's in their station, everything's going okay. But it's weird because every year when we would prepare, it's so much different than this year since I'm not preparing a station. I'm like overseeing. So it's very strange.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I have a lot of responsibility, but I'm not doing a lot.
Yeah, no, I sort of feel that too, since I'll be doing mostly media.
Yeah.
I'm not really like attached to a station. Is the team staying in like an Airbnb?
Yeah.
Like, what's the situation with that?
So I think last year was the first time we did an Airbnb because last year was the first time we had like such a big team. Last year was 28 people compared to we would usually have 8 people.
Oh.
Yeah. So the first 2 years we had only 1 camp and then the rest we had 2 since our team was so big. Yeah, it was just like a big sleepover.
That sounds like fun.
It is fun because right now, I'm sure you can tell before the trip, everyone's so like in their own bubble with their own people.
Yeah.
And then once you go on the trip and like spend time with everyone gets so close. It's so hard to see it now because right now I feel like it's like a lot of the students and then just like the young adults, but everyone just gets intertwined and it's so nice. But the first 2 years was rough because I think the first year, the guys... So like P. Don, Heyman, and Kevin had to sleep in the apartment where the summer camp was.
Oh.
With another church. Because we were there with another church from New Jersey, actually.
What church?
I think it was Chode.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. What? So they had to sleep with the other guys from that church too. Yeah.
Bonding moment.
Yeah. And then the girls had to sleep at one of the staff members' place. So we were separated.
Oh, wow. And now we're going to be sharing the whole house, huh?
Yeah. But that was also nice, too, because when we would stay at the staff member's place, it was nice to get to know the staff and, like, get to know about them and, more about the ministry and what they're doing.
And who is the person that runs
So it's Miss Lori, who is ahead of it, and then her husband, who's the pastor. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for everyone to meet Miss Lori because she tells all of these crazy testimonies that I have never heard like so many testimonies at one time that just like brought me to tears. When you hear her speak, you can just see how real God is and how God is moving in this community. It's insane. Yeah.
Is she the one with the famous baby?
No, that's her daughter. So it's Miss Lori and then her daughter, she has 3 kids. The one with the baby is Priska. And then her son is JJ.
I was thinking of Miss Lori as this like 27-year-old woman.
No, yeah, that's her mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That just got shattered.
Yeah. The whole staff is so great.
Do they have a big staff or like a smaller?
I think there's multiple people because there's a lot of volunteers that do like the after school program and the tutoring. But the main people that we would see were Miss Lori, her husband, and then Miss Jessie. And Miss Jessie, we would usually go to her like for the summer camp. She would kind of help us with the summer camp, and her sister, Miss Ashley.
What is like... I mean, do you have like a specific goal or vision for this year's Georgia missions trip?
I think it's different this year because there was that pause because of the pandemic. So for me personally is just to make even more relationships because I'm sure there are so many new kids. Yeah, just to make that connection and like hopefully seeing them the next year. But honestly, I think it's okay if we don't see them the next year because that just means that, so there have been a few kids that have left the area, which is good for them, and their family because that means they're doing well. But yeah, I'm just not sure how it'll go this year because I talked to P. Danny about this, but because of technology, things have been so different where we see the kids on like Instagram.
Yeah.
Because society and like the younger generation now seems so much older than they should be. They're like losing their childhood, I feel like, and like their innocence. So seeing them again is going to be very different, and how to handle that. I don't think we've ever handled that before.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
That's going to be something else.
Yeah. Like wearing makeup, wearing different clothes, seeing them is...
How many kids usually come out, would you say?
I think in each camp there was about 20 to 30.
This is going to be fun. It's going to be a good time.
It is a good time. Just, yeah, it's a very good time. I'm excited. It's coming up very soon.
I wonder how the plane situation's going to be like.
Oh, yeah, because this year we have like a layover.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's nice to take a plane. The first year, P. Don had to drive the whole time. It felt so bad.
That sucks.
Well, someone was like in the front with them and everyone else was just sleeping away. It's funny because there are times where every time we're in a new state, someone would turn on the lights and P. Don would be like, we're in this state, we're in this state. And everyone's just like, what?
So all this stuff that you just shared, I know it's like, it's a little vague, but it's something, you know, like if anybody has questions or like wants to learn more about it, you can reach out to Grace or like just anybody on the team. A great way to also find out about more specific information is asking for our support letters too. We go way more into depth with those letters, and yeah, we're always free for a hang, for a cup of coffee. We could just talk more about Georgia. Yeah, especially afterwards too. It's coming up really fast.
I know.
We have the 5K next week, and then we have a food sale and t-shirt sale, 5/22. Be there, be square. Yeah. So now that you're like about to graduate, you've given yourself advice for freshman Grace, but like what's a question you would want to ask people that are in that next stage, where it could be either to people who are young adults or like married couples or families? Like what is one thing that you're sort of, I guess, wondering at this point where you're at?
I guess how to balance like work life and church life, just having time, because I feel like I'm already struggling with that, like doing like I recently joined praise team, so struggling with praise team on the weekends and having school and work during the day and wanting to serve our community. So
Yeah.
how do you balance that? Yeah, reach out to me. Give me advice, please.
Oh man, I'm just happy that you're finally about to graduate.
I know.
We go pretty way back. It's actually really funny. You know how like on Facebook when you're trying to like find your roommate, I don't know if they still do that, but they have that Rutgers page and people sort of like sell themselves on there, and they're like, yeah, I'm like a heavy sleeper, but like I still like to have fun even though I care about my studies. You guys should room with me, hit me up. I like posted one of those. Not like, I didn't say this, but somebody actually messaged me, and then it was just some like Asian girl. And then I was, you know, in that mode where I was like, I don't want to room with another Korean because I don't want to be in that Korean bubble. But it was actually Grace Kim.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, and I
She
didn't
never answered.
I didn't
She
realize
never
that until
answered me.
later. But what's actually really funny is that we started rooming our sophomore year of college. So you got what you wish for.
Yeah, it was funny because we met one day doing Turkey Bowl. Turkey Bowl is like where all the Korean fellowships come together and do women's flag football.
Yeah.
And Eunice and I were on the same team, and we met. She didn't come to any of the practices, I think, because I didn't see you.
I like went to like one or two.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. I see her at the game. We're playing together. We get to know each other. And the same day, we're like, do you want to be roommates?
We should be
next
roommates.
year?"
And then we actually became roommates, which is pretty
Yeah.
crazy. We like barely knew each other, but you know, we had that
We just
spark.
clicked.
We had that spark.
It was funny because there was someone there. They're like, "Are you sure you guys just met?"
I know there are a lot of people that were like, I didn't know about this. But we hung out a lot after that.
Yeah.
visited you in the towers.
Had our little sleepovers in the twin beds.
Yeah, it's because I wanted to escape Cook Doug.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's nice. Cook Doug is nice. You also mentioned that you just joined Praise Team.
Oh yes, I did.
And I mean, me being your friend, I know that you've had like an interesting relationship with Praise Team and with worship. And like from my knowledge and from like my memories of other people who've like done worship, they've either done it like their whole lives or like start like for the first time in college. So I guess how has it felt doing it for a certain amount of time and then sort of just like, you know, jumping back in now as like a soon to be young adult and graduate of college?
I feel like my relationship with worship was very interesting because I first started out at my home church, which is Cliffside Park. My uncle is a pastor, so my whole family went to that church, and it's just KM. And I had never went to an EM in my life. So starting out on a praise team at a KM was so different because I had to sing these songs in Korean that I didn't really understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really interesting. And then going to Rutgers and then going to such a large community. And I should preface that my home church was like 15 people.
Yeah.
And most of them were my family members, like my family, my immediate family, my uncle, his wife, my aunt, my cousins, and then a couple other people.
Yeah.
And then coming to PEM, such a large church in comparison. Yeah, it was so different because it was for the first time I was hearing worship that I understood and like really felt.
Yeah.
So being on a praise team was like something I still did enjoy, even though I didn't really understand the words because I could feel the spirit, you know?
Yeah.
Either way. But yeah, I remember my freshman year, I actually asked the praise team leaders back then to join. I think it was Joe, Lee, and Andy.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then I was going to, but then they were like, maybe you shouldn't because I was a freshman and it's a lot of time commitment. And I'm kind of glad that they told me that because I think I would have had a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
Like making time and like making a community of my own.
Oh, yeah.
But then I ended up joining a praise team for KCF, which was great.
Good. Yeah.
It was great. I loved it. And then Emmaus happened. Emmaus started when we were freshmen with P. Paul. And then I had joined Emmaus praise team, which was great in itself. And then I left. And so that was a whole break. But then I was also in welcoming committee. So I don't think even if I wanted to join PEM praise team, I wouldn't be able to anyway because like the same time I'd have to welcome people. And,
No, that's good how they Joe and Andy told you maybe wait a little because you were able to really invest in the college community.
Yeah.
I think that makes way more sense in my opinion.
Yeah, so I was serving on welcoming for a long time. Since I was a freshman up until last year, I had stopped welcoming. But welcoming was so great. I think I really enjoyed my time on welcoming and not being on praise team for that time because you just get to meet so many people. And it's so important to just make sure that everyone feels at home, like all the new people and even people that have been going out for years. Like, I'm sure you felt this before, and everyone who's been to PEM before for a long time, like for different seasons, like one season you feel so involved and you feel like you have community, and then there's another season where you kind of just feel alone.
Yeah.
And you don't know who to talk to, and saying hi to people is a little weird. And so it's so welcoming is so important. It's not just showing people where to sit, like doing offering. It's so much more than that.
You were like so involved ever since you were a freshman. You literally dragged me out to PEM. I was like, no, like church hop a little more, aka just like not go to church. But She dragged me on that school bus when they had school buses.
Yeah, you would sleep over and be like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna go. Be like, you gotta go.
I'm like, but I don't have
You can wear my clothes.
I was like,
come on.
Okay. And I'm thankful for that. Thankful for friends like you who pushed me to be Christian. Go to church.
Yeah.
And now we're so glad to have you on praise team. We did Emmaus worship together for a little bit, and it was so much fun. And now we get to do that again on Pem praise team.
Oh yeah.
How did it feel to lead again?
I was so nervous. I don't even remember the last time I led worship. I think it was 3 years ago.
Oh,
On Emmaus praise team,
probably Emmaus.
Yeah, so long ago. So being in that position again practices were fun. They were great. But then once you get on the stage, it's you kind of freeze. I was definitely really nervous at first, but I feel like once the worship started, all the nervousness became excitement. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And then to do retreat was also great too.
Oh, yeah. Retreat. So
it was great because it
sad.
was just one and done. Oh, yeah. Eunice couldn't go because Eunice and Peter got COVID. It was unfortunate.
Yeah.
But now you're better. You guys are all better.
Yeah. We good now, hopefully. Yeah, worship, I feel is one of the huge parts of who you are. And I don't know. I see you with music, you know what I mean?
It's funny because I see you with music
no
too.
way. Ew.
For those who don't know, Eunice is my go-to duet person.
Oh, yeah. I don't do it with anybody else except for Grace. Cringe. Coffee house. Coffee house moments.
You have a new duet person now.
Who?
Peter.
Oh.
Your husband.
It's okay. It's not the same. Anyways, it was really cool having you here and having just another catch up, another conversation. So thanks for coming on this podcast. Was there anything else you wanted to put out there or any messages to the world?
Well, if you guys have any questions about Georgia, feel free to reach out to me at church or Facebook message me, or even Eunice, since we're both going on the team. There's still fundraising going on. We have food sale May 22nd, and then we have the 5K 9 a.m. at May 14th.
Oak Ridge Park in Edison. Signups are up until the day of the event. So if you're late, you're in luck.
We do also have a t-shirt sale.
Yeah, the t-shirt sale is going to be at the same time we do the food sale, just outside service.
The design is super cool. Eunice was a part of the design idea.
Yeah, shout out Kevin Park and Decky Studios. Yeah, especially if you're not running the 5K and you're not getting a shirt and you want to fit in, just get a t-shirt. For your kids too, there's some kid sizes. But yeah, anyways, thank you once again. And this is where we log off. Are you going to say something?
No.
Grace and Eunice logging off, signing off now.